Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my podcast where you can gain some insight on my perspective. My name is Hayden, and this is episode 3 of a series called 24 Lessons I've Learned in My 24 Years of Life. Lesson 3, Words Hold Power. One of the very first quotes that struck me when I was 15 was, "You become what you think about." I heard this by Lauren Sanderson. If you don't know who she is, you can look her up. Around the time I found her song called Dear Universe, I know it verbatim. She sang affirmations in it. Age 15 was a very dark time. I had really tough lessons going on in my life at that age. So yeah, you become what you think about. The very first time I heard Lauren say that, I was like, you become what you think about? Why have I never heard of this before? You become what you think about. You become what you think about. I just kept saying it over and over and over again until it finally made sense to me because it felt true, but it didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, you become what you think about. And then I was like, well, all that I can see in my brain is the quote, you become what you think about, because that's all that I'm thinking about right now. I started applying it to my life. I'm like, maybe I won't get it today, but maybe I'll get it tomorrow. I'll try again. Then again, I'm like, you become what you think about. Oh, I get it. So whether I'm thinking something positive or negative, that's how I'm going to feel. And I was like, okay, I'm not the happiest in my life right now. And I'm actually very sad and I'm very depressed and I feel these very heavy feelings. And I just kept going on and on and on in my mind. And then I was just sulking in my room. The heaviness just engulfed me into my futon and it just surrounded me and it became my comfort zone. And it was all that I could think about because of everything going on in my life, how I felt about myself, how I felt about situations going on around me. I saw nothing positive. But I never treated anybody differently because of the way I was feeling or because of the things I was going through. I very much did the opposite. People knew me to be this very positive, uplifting person who was there for their every need despite whatever I was going through. I was their sounding board because I did not want to focus on whatever was going on in my life. And I'm like, let me help other people. But I was never helping myself. So even though I helped a lot of people go through whatever they were going through at the time, some of those people unknowingly helped me because I saw their strength and resilience as they were going through something very difficult that I was assisting them with. Through them came this strength in me that I did not realize I had because all I was thinking about was everything bad going on in my life. I'm getting emotional because I think of one particular person who was there for me, my best friend Libby. Because when I was 15, it was the start of things getting really hard. Age 17, I met Libby. She was going through so much when I first met her, and so was I. And I will never forget our very first time sitting down at my local Dairy Queen and having a very real and raw conversation. She had absolutely no idea what was going on in my life. That was like the start of our friendship, and we are family now. And I call her my sister, she calls me her brother. We check in on one another, but she is a person that I am extremely grateful for. Not to discount any of the things my amazing, wonderful friends did for me. Oh my God, I just have really great friends that I am grateful for. The more I hung around Libby, that girl is so funny. And she is so light and airy and bubbly and outgoing, and there's never a dull moment. Every memory ever just is so wonderful with her. Like, I just always laugh so hard till I cry with that girl. Same with my friend Emma, same with my squad back home. There's just so many people I've just laughed until I've cried with. And those are very real and raw friendships that I am grateful for. Through all those experiences of talking to all these people and involving them in my life, they showed me how strong and resilient I was. And once I adopted the mindset of, okay, I can think positively, I can think good thoughts, and I can believe those to be true, I started gaining some confidence. I started becoming more outgoing and pulling myself out of this depression that I was in. You become what you think about. And I really hope that that resonates with some of you who are listening because that quote changed my life, and I hope that it can maybe change somebody else's. It's very sad to see other people stuck in that cycle because I was once in that cycle of everything sucks, life is hard, I don't want to be here. You're just fueling your mind with all these negative thoughts and you're looking at all these other people of, well, how do you have that life and I have this life? We have them for reasons. We have them because of different lessons. Other people were handed different lessons and they got to a certain spot in their life before you have. And I guess maybe if you're comparing yourself to another person, maybe the lesson is stop comparing yourself, because comparison is the thief of joy. That might be another lesson I'm going to be talking about. You become what you think about. One of the bullet points I want to talk about, which apparently I had a lot to say about. It was a very pivotal, it was a the remix. That word doesn't make sense to me right now. It was a time in my life, okay? So yeah, words hold power. If you want to, you will. There's a trend going on. If he wanted to, he would. If you want to, you will. If you don't want to, you will not. Do not overcomplicate it. It is that simple. What do I mean by that? I recently had a conversation which was a perfect example for this. This person expressed to me, I want to get fit. I want to take care of myself, but I am not willing to put in the work to do so. And I said, so you don't actually want to get fit then? And you won't. No, I want to and I will, but I'm just not willing to put in the work. So if you're not willing to put in the work, you're willing to make up excuses for as why you can't do it when you are fully capable of doing so. It's just that you don't want to. I've heard, you're so right. If I want to, I will. And I totally understand that. However, I do see the excuses I'm making for myself to prevent me from getting to the point that I need to get to in order to achieve the goal I'm trying to achieve. And I'm like, well, yes, I am a product of that. I talked about this in my last video. I set the goal to quit nicotine. I made up the reasoning to not go back is if I use nicotine, it is going to mess up my healing process for something that already caused me so much pain. And if I mess that up, the surgery to get my wisdom teeth out would not have been worth it, and me quitting nicotine would not have been worth it. So I had to make the desire to not go back to using nicotine so ugly that I wouldn't go back to it. And the ugliness of that is my mouth could have sores, it could not heal, I could be in more pain, and I'd be stuck with an addiction for a really long time again. It was the positives that were outweighing the negatives, and it was me saying, I want to quit nicotine, so I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm not trying, because you're just saying at that point. You're saying, well, yeah, I'm trying. Are you actively doing it? No. Same with, oh, I want to get better grades, but I'm not willing to study and put in the work to do it, but I expect to have better grades regardless. So you're not willing to put in the work, therefore you're not going to see the results that you're looking for. If you want to, you'll do it. If you don't want to, you won't. So when somebody tells me they want to achieve the goal, but they're not willing to put in the work, I'm like, you actually don't want to then. Because it's the process that is going to take you there. It's the ladder. It's the stepping stones. The words around that are so powerful. You saying, I want to, but I'm not going to do this. Immediately the goal is away. You're that much farther away from your goal when you say, I want to, but I'm not willing to put it, goodbye. That goal's out the window. Next. What else? What else you got? Well, I want to start drinking more water. Okay, so do it. But it is really that simple. If you want to do something, you will do it. So do it. Don't say one thing and mean another. Be clear and direct. Think about it. They hold power regardless of whether you're saying something positive or negative. Words hold power. Learn when to speak up and when to stay quiet. When you're having a conversation with somebody, understand they have their own opinion and beliefs. You have your own. You do not have to agree on the same thing. A lot of people use this example. Well, I like apples and they like oranges, but I'm not gonna sit here and try and convince you that oranges are better than apples, right? Because that's totally up to your preference and what you believe to be true. It's a waste of energy to try and convince somebody otherwise. It's a matter of opinion. And you can still respect one another, can continue hanging out and going on about your day. It's when you feel that you need to argue that, somebody who is aware of their thoughts in the moment might take a step back and be like, wait, why do I think that? Because apples and oranges are both fruit, so that's a commonality. Why am I getting upset that this person does not like apples and they prefer oranges? Why am I thinking that? Is it because, you know what? Maybe it's because their belief doesn't align with mine and I feel that as a personal attack. In reality, they weren't trying to offend me in any way. They were just sharing their opinion and it didn't align with mine, so I felt the need to get defensive and attack them for not liking what I liked. I don't raise my voice. I don't put others down because I myself don't want to be put down. I don't put myself down for thinking a certain way. I understand that people have different opinions. There are times things get really heated. I get very passionate about something, and in the moment, I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I have to remind myself it's okay. Not everybody is going to believe what I believe. Just like I don't believe what other people believe. But we can still meet in the middle. And meeting in the middle isn't, well, yeah, I agree with you. It's, I see that you believe that way. You see I believe this way. And we don't have to believe each other's beliefs at all. But we can still respect one another. When you're expressing your words, are you able to do it calmly? Are you able to be encouraging or inspiring when you're talking to somebody? Or are you discouraging them? Are you putting them down? Did your fight or flight response kick in? That's a really good time to reflect. There's energy linked to the words that you were saying, and people speak when they are emotionally charged, whether that is positively or negatively or neutral. If somebody is speaking, let's say, positively, they might sound excited or genuine, or you might feel the warmth of their love when they're expressing gratitude, or they're expressing their love to you. Flip the script. An emotionally charged person with a negative inflection in their voice could look like the one who is being discouraging, who is putting the other person down, is lacking emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Someone who is emotionally intelligent might be uplifting, inspiring, powerful, in control of their words and their actions, encouraging, mindful, thinking about not only themselves but the people around them. Somebody who lacks emotional intelligence might constantly be nitpicking other people, putting other people down, nitpicking themselves, and being dismissive and projecting. Might say that they are not in control of their emotions. They blame others or exterior stimuli as their reasoning why they're acting the way that they are acting. In reality, we are all in control of our emotions. We cannot control how we feel. However, we can control the words and actions that come from those emotions. Somebody who is emotionally charged in a positive way might outwardly express their excitement. There's nothing wrong with that. There is also equally nothing wrong with the way in which you can be frustrated. So if I'm frustrated, I'm expressing my frustration outwardly. However, I'm not directing it towards anyone. A lot of us can pull people into our emotions, and sometimes people enjoy sharing their emotions, especially positive ones. But when you are sharing negative emotions, you are capable of bringing somebody else down with you, and they are capable of allowing themselves to go down with you, which is just a downward spiral. Whereas if you are, expressing a positive emotion around somebody else and it charges them up as well, your happiness could inspire them to be charged up as well. Or your happiness can annoy somebody because they're not feeling happy, but they're going to blame you for your happiness because they feel sad, and because they feel sad, they feel that you should also feel sad. That person is lacking emotional intelligence. With having this, it's having the ability to understand that your emotions do not need to be felt by everybody around you. Just because you are feeling a certain way, that does not mean the person next to you needs to feel that way, or because they know this is going on with you, that they also have to feel like that with you. And just because you're angry, that does not mean that everybody around you needs to be angry as well. It's not a good energy to be around if you are somebody who wants to be around a more positive environment. Somebody like myself, I will leave situations if there is too much tension, if there is a lot of attacking going on. I'm not talking physical attacking like you're physically harming somebody. Verbal attacking, I hate being around it, because it's so negative and I'm seeing the wasted energy put out there. And a lot of the times, this anger that I'm seeing, that all this energy put into this charged situation, that people are not even talking about it the next day. Later on, they can remember, oh, I had that argument. Oh, I remember how I felt in that moment. That's how I feel now. And I feel angry. Know that there is a time and a place for the way in which they exude their emotions and how they exude them. An example being, you could have just got cut off in traffic and you're coming home to maybe your kids that have been waiting for you to get home all day long, and you come in the door so angry. Your kid was excited to hug you. Now you're yelling and being scary, and they don't know why because they're like, did I do this? Now your child feels that maybe they've done something that has upset you, and you're taking your anger out on them, and they don't deserve that because they weren't the cause of what happened, and you're out of control. You are not controlling your emotions. Whereas somebody who is very mindful can be like, I just got cut off in traffic. And then they let it go. Like, yeah, in that moment, you're like, oh my gosh, I just got cut off. Well, do I really need to be upset about this? How is this going to affect me in the next 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 days? It's not. You simply got cut off, you're still here, you're alive, you're good, nothing happened. Sure, it was, the other person may have been ignorant, or maybe you were on your phone. There are so many other factors that play into it. But how you respond to a stimuli, you are in control of. All of our actions have consequences, just as our words have power. Our actions are powerful, and whether we use them for good or bad is entirely up to you. But you're gonna see the energy that is constantly around you based off which route you go down. Neither way is wrong or right. You might get your way being a negative person, but then you might get hit with some other lessons that you need to learn. A lot of us have intrusive thoughts and we just say them out loud sometimes, and then we're like, maybe we shouldn't have said that. But you've been thinking about it. A lot of us have thoughts that we ponder on and we wait to say, and sometimes when we say them, it is the wrong time, and we understand it's the wrong time after we say it because it did not fit into anything that we were talking about. Or you see the right time, and this comes with humor. For example, you start learning when it's appropriate to slip in a joke. Based off the people you're around, there are going to be people who like dark humor, light humor, deadpan humor. There's so many different genres of humor, but you're gonna see what types of jokes you can make around the people that you're with. But if you make a dark humored joke around light humored people, they're not gonna find that funny. And they're like, there's a time and a place for that, and this is not the time nor place. You're gonna be like, okay, I made a mistake. I know to share that with my other friends in a different way. And I know not to do that again. I'm going to think before I speak in that scenario. Your actions have consequences, so do your words. And you are entirely in control of how you think and how you act. However, if you say you aren't in control, you're going to continue to act out of control because you're conditioning yourself to be like, because I'm going through this, I'm acting like this. Because of this stimuli, I'm gonna act like this. Emotionally intelligent people take accountability and responsibility for their own actions and their words. People who lack emotional intelligence and mindfulness will blame it on others or make excuses for it. I tend to surround myself with people who are willing to take responsibility and accountability for their own actions and not blame other people for their own doings. So after watching this or listening to this, you can see how words hold power. You're gonna see where you lie on the scale of, am I emotionally intelligent? Do I lack control of my emotions? Or am I somewhere in the middle where I know I need to work on myself after hearing this? There's some things I need to reevaluate. Life's all about trials, tribulations, reevaluating and executing again. We try over and over and over again. But if you don't grow and you stay stuck. Which is why I'm sharing the lessons I'm sharing with you today and in my previous episodes and future episodes, because these are all lessons I've learned that have helped benefit my life. And if I can help at least one person, then that's why I'm doing this. Even if it's just to help myself reflect on how far I've come in my life. Anyways. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode. I hope to catch you in my next episode, episode 4, where I teach you about setting and reinforcing boundaries. Have a great day.